music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for about an hour. And we've got a couple people joining us from around the country. Got Clover jumping in from East Texas. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite.
Is that correct? Do we call it East Texas, or do you got another name for that region?
Yeah, it really is. This East Texas, probably, Middle East Texas.
I don't know what Texas would consider mid-Texas, because with population, you're probably mid-Texas, but land-wise, you're East Texas.
Land-wise, yeah. Yeah, it's not Northeast Texas, but it's not Southeast Texas either, so we're kind of in the middle.
And then we got Ghost jumping in from Arkansas. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
And I'm down here in Arizona. We've got links out tonight to all kinds of people out there. I sent it out to my 42 people that I send it to in the media. Since we got SHOT Show coming up, we're calling this a How to SHOT Show guide. And, it's Ghost and Clover's second year. Got links out there to people that span from their first year to many years. And we talk about that kind of stuff. And with just the three of us, we talk it out a lot. So we'll see if we have stuff to talk about or not. And this is an interactive effort, so if you're watching out there, thanks for showing up live and be part of the conversation. Let us know if you got questions or points. That's how we learn, and that's how the conversation moves along. And of course, we're simulcasting this over on gunchannels.com, so if you'd like the link, be part of the panel discussion, let us know. What were we just talking about? And I was like, let's just talk. Where are we going? Let's just talk about that live.
We were talking about like vitamins and all that stuff that we're trying not to get sick with the crud.
So you said you got some kind of a powder. First, I thought when you said powder, I was thinking something that you inhaled. I don't know why I was thinking that. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. But when you said, I was like, what? And then I was thinking maybe like one of those inhalers, like you inhale it. And I was thinking that's an interesting way to get, it in you. But because we were talking about airborne. I guess maybe that's what I was thinking, as a airborne preventative measure or whatever. But you're talking like a boost, like a drink.
Well, not really. Basically, what I've been doing right now is starting last week. I've been taking vitamin C, vitamin B, magnesium, zinc, and garlic, like pills, every day. But my daughter got some airborne powder for like actually being at SHOT Show. She's like, hey, just put this in a bottle of water and it should help throughout the days. And she said, it tastes terrible, but it'll help while I'm there. So I get a bottle of water, pour this powder in there, and it's airborne in a bottle of water. I'm going to try it out while I'm there.
So I think I've talked about this in past shows because I'm cheap. I went to the store and I looked at what was in airborne, because people do that. It's like some sort of an immune booster, right? You take it prior to and then while you're at events like this where you got 60,000 plus people in one room with one air conditioning filtration system trying to keep us from getting all sick from each other. People coming from international locations, and because it's only the one time per year, probably people are questionable, like, oh, I'm sick, but I'm still going to show up. So they're bringing all their snot and everything with them. So the idea is that you take a bunch of stuff ahead of time, get your immune system built up, right? And then you're boostering it while you're there. So I just looked at the label and saw that, the ingredients that there's like 5 versions of airborne. I picked like some of the ingredients that they shared. And then I just went down the shelf and bought the generic bottles of those things. Like if one of them was vitamin C. And then I just bought like, raw vitamin C in a generic thing. So then I've got like 3 different things I found. I can't remember what they're called. They're like weird. I think they're plants. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm not taking that's an airborne is some of the herbal stuff, and I haven't found those yet here at my local Walmart. But I'm just taking the basic stuff.
You gonna do some kind of regimen, Clover? Did you guys get sick last year?
I was lucky. I did not get sick, so knock on wood.
half of it is coming home with the sickness. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I survived shot," which is fine because you get all your work done. But then they're out of it for 2 weeks because once they get home, it hits them and they're boom, they're out of it.
And I know that it wasn't the crud that Yankee got, but Yankee went to the hospital with dehydration, you know? So
I don't know what
there's
he,
different things you can do there, I guess.
I don't know what he was doing, but he was drinking all that weird orange juice, I guess, with you guys, and then
Yeah.
didn't or something. I don't know. He screwed himself up though.
Well, I think he's diabetic, is he not? I think the orange juice has a lot of sugar in it, so that probably didn't help.
Oh, but that's what I was gonna say. It's chemically he screwed himself up, not like a pathogen or whatever got him.
Yeah, he didn't get the crud, I don't think.
Yeah, I've got. I did similar thing to you, G-Webs. I did. We went and looked and kind of looked at the airborne stuff, and so I found like a multivitamin that covered most all that stuff, and then I found a multi-mineral because your vitamins don't cover a lot of the minerals and stuff. So I found like a multi-mineral that did, and then there was one other one that I'm taking too, and I can't remember what the deal it was, but it fills a gap somewhere.
Yeah, and I got I did get a bottle of the Airborne gummies for SHOT Show Week. I think it's like a 9-day supply, one of them 3 times a day, these little gummies. And so I'll be taking that starting, I think, Thursday. So that gives me like a 9-day supply of them. So we'll see how that works too.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a sitcom waiting to happen. So Ghost is at something having like one of these get-togethers in the evening. Airborne gummies, and he sets down his airborne gummies, and somebody else is sitting next to him at like the table, some like cocktail table, having a different discussion, and they've got their THC gummies because that's all recreational now in Vegas. And then they go to eat each other's gummies, and then Ghost. It's a whole nother adventure with Ghost. And
you know, I'll be videoing that. I'll have my GoPro on me, all you know. So we'll have a good time, you know.
That other guy's like, I'm all upset because I'm not getting what I'm supposed to get out of these, healthy or whatever. But come on,
I'm like, this Airborne's really awesome.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not using that Airborne anymore. I don't know.
It's making me hungry. When are we gonna eat?
I've eaten 7 times today already. What's going on with this? I need Oreos at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know?
Now, I was telling Ghost earlier where all this kind of started. My wife told me that one thing that you could do is get some like triple antibiotic ointment, like Neosporin or whatever, put it on a Q-tip and like swab inside your nose, put a very thin layer inside your nose, and that would kill any bacteria or anything that tried to enter through your nose. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, it makes sense. Pretty much everything, you got all those hairs and whatever, and it's designed to filter and stop things, right? And then you inhale later, and you don't want to have some active bug get in you. Yeah.
What if you're a mouth breather? I guess you're screwed, huh?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough on a lot of different levels.
Well, it's probably supposed to keep you 100% healthy as much as just an act of health, right?
I mean, I think you can do all the stuff that we're doing and all the preparation we're doing, and you know, you just get lucky or you don't. I mean, I got lucky last year. I didn't do any prep last year, you know, and didn't get sick. So
some of it's just being healthy. I mean, if you're a healthy person,
right,
whatever amount of stuff you're going to encounter, you're going to deal with. But some of that stuff, I don't think it is just that, because we've been healthy in the past. One of the guys got hit like maybe at the media day or something, because by Wednesday he was just done, and he lost half a SHOT Show. He was out of it Wednesday, left early, and was in the hotel puking until the whole ride home, puking, sick for days after.
Wow. You know, I don't know what happened, but when I went overseas to some place in the early 90s, we had to take like 27 different shots for different things we were going to could encounter when we were overseas somewhere. And I swear I haven't been sick since then. I don't know what they gave us, but I haven't had the flu in 20-something years. You know,
that's an excellent point. I've always figured I'm just fucking healthy, but that's true. Like at least for us in basic, it seemed like every 5 minutes, or at least I'm not even kidding. Like every couple of days, they're dragging you through some line to get shots for something. I don't know what the hell they all are.
We had to run down this line And remember, I don't know if they had them, but in the Army, but in the Marines, they had like these little air gun things that you could just
Yeah, that's the first
walk
time
down.
I never had seen anything like that before until then.
Neither had I. And we would just walk down this line. And I swear it was 20-something things. Like, hey, where are you going? I told them where we were going. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? But I haven't been sick since. So, like I said, knock on wood. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
So this is, I mean, this isn't like brilliant or nothing. It's not. It's kind of obvious, but it worked. One time had that one. That was the first time we encountered that. And they don't tell you. They just go over here and get shots. Like, you don't question it. You just do it, right? So you're in line, and it was like, I remember we walked in, kind of walked out the door where people were waiting, and I did that. Like, I'll like walk out like, oh. People were all like, oh shit, what's happening? And then later they're like, fuck you, because it doesn't even. It feels like somebody's blowing on you or something. It doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, you can play it down pretty good, and people are like, "Oh, is it that bad? Oh my God, it's terrible," you know.
All right, so
Clover.
We're not at that point where you line up before you go in to get inoculated, but actually, there's probably stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that. A shot, like stop in and get a immune shot or something. Not in shop in Vegas in general, probably.
Oh yeah, well, I was going to ask you because when you said the shot. I mean, I've never looked and never asked. I've only been there one time, but there's got to be like some sort of a medical place that if you get sick while it's shot, you could go somewhere and maybe get a shot or something. Is there a medical place or a kiosk or something there at shot?
So downstairs, like where the smoking area is and where you come in from smoking and all the escalators come up from or down to or whatever. And then,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess if you're just a regular person going to SHOT Show and you're not media, that's where you'd go get in line for your badge if you didn't already have it. I don't know what it's like. I've been years, in 2004 since I went there, and they just handed me a badge. I never waited in a line. So there's that area though, like a concession. I don't know what they call it, like just a big area for lines. And then in the beginning of the show, there's lines. The rest of the show, it's empty. But that's where all the offices are, and that's where I'm guessing if there is some kind of medical, it's probably in that area because I've never seen it up by the media room or anything. And there's nothing really upstairs that's really like shot. There might be like a little booth that's like an information booth or the little sub information booths, but I think the main stuff is downstairs where the escalators go down to.
Well, I would just imagine with that many people there, you know, just by code, I would imagine the fire code or something would have to have some sort of paramedics there or something, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys usually, it takes a while before you have to go and then see it different days. You know, some days you show up at noon, some days you show up at 8, and there's a difference, like what it looks like out front. So I was noticing this as I was putting together, I was telling you guys I was putting together the website where I have all the reviews. You know, we've got 13 years of reviews of that show and then other shows and stuff. So I've been putting them together to try to, you know, this is the time of year when I usually spruce up that content, you know, the past SHOT Show stuff. And for a long time, especially when it traveled, it would be at a convention center always. And then they would have, I don't know what they are, like either like sails off a sailboat, or they're bigger than billboards, but they would like skin the entire front of an entire building with like some graphics or something. And it was kind of impressive, you know, to see this multi-story building with a giant, you know, like basically that fabric that they put on a billboard, but just huge. And then at some point, I'm trying to remember, and I was looking through the pictures to try to figure it out. It must have been like 12 or 13. They stopped doing that. And I'm guessing because it costs $1 billion probably to make that giant thing for like 4 days, and then it's useless. But they quit skinning it. So the front has changed because it doesn't look like SHOT Show anymore. Now it just looks like a crowded building. It could be a crowded building with anything in it, right? But out front in the kind of up the hill from where the parking or the smoking area is, there's a sidewalk, and during the day normally that's nothing but cop cars. Like it's all emergency vehicles, like staged or whatever. So that's probably where they got some. I'm sure they got some ambulances staged where they can throw people
just
in
in case.
They have to.
There's so many doors that we're not allowed to go through. I'm sure some of those doors lead right to those ambulances, you know, somewhere, you know.
That's exactly. And then like if you go out on the main floor, like the real floor, and you go to the south end or the back of the place. For years, that was just off limits because that's the loading gates and stuff. But lately, last couple of years, that's been open. I think it's like you have to pay for your own food there. It's not like it's free food, but it's not a snack bar either. It's like chips and drinks and bottles kind of food, and then beer probably, and then like just an open area where like they take up section of the loading platform, basically where all the trucks would be during the transitions between shows, and they use that area as like a big patio basically, and it's a smokers area also now.
Oh wow, I didn't know about that.
So I'm guessing over there though, because that's giant, like a basically, you know, imagine just a big cement ramp or whatever where they have all the room for trucks to get in and out of there. I'll bet you they got ambulances back there is what I was getting at.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. What the hell? I'm hearing noises up my yard.
When ghosts hear noises, what is
That's
that?
not good.
All right.
That's when humans are walking around in their backyard.
Apparently.
Ah, it's a human. It scared me.
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked all over your grave.
So
you were talking about that patio. Something I noticed that I didn't, and I wanted to hit you up because I know you've kind of been around, all around the floor and stuff before, G. But I was looking at the map, and it's got a patio / barbecue area. It says weather permitting. Have you ever been out on that?
that's what I'm talking about. It's on the south
Oh,
side.
that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Are you
Are
talking
they
about
actually
the south side?
are they actually cooking food and stuff out there?
They didn't last year. Last year it was wasted space. It was like normally it's not open. It's only been open for like only 2 years. And
All right.
you walk out there and it's basically a place to smoke or get out of the, because sometimes it's humid and gross in there. It just gets you out into a regular, environment for a minute, get some air. But then I think the first year that's all it was, is you could go out there and come back in basically. And now they added this last year, like, I don't know what you call it, like it's just a guy standing there with like a little cash register and then a couple of refrigerators with, like, say, bottled water, and it wasn't even like candy bars. It was just like snack food type of stuff. I think because that's all I remember seeing there. It wasn't like sandwiches and forks and napkins and all that kind of stuff. But maybe they're going to make it more elaborate because it was sizable. I mean, it's the loading dock for the giant convention center, so it's kind of huge. It's bigger than any yard.
Yeah.
So they could easily put like all the barbecue, like we were talking about it before. These people downstairs are making all the venison and the elk and everything, either selling a cooker or selling a spice or some kind of marinade. They could put all them people someplace where they could actually, bring an actual cooker and really cook. That'd be a whole nother level to shot.
That'd be cool.
We never like focused on it, but I'm wondering. I would say food and eating is, the stuff related to it. You talk everything from knives and forks and coolers and, like I say, marinades and spices and stuff downstairs. I'll bet you it's sizable. It would be an entire gun show worth of just that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, that'd be kind of, I'm gonna go check that out this time. At least, if nothing else, is to see what they got.
Interesting. Yeah.
Vanessa's saying she's got coffin, honey, and tea, right? Coffin.
Honey and tea. That's what they say. I don't like either one of them, but it works apparently.
Whiskey do it too.
Whiskey will do it too. That's correct.
So New York was saying if you overdo vitamins, they force the flush, which moves the stones and whatever. Just don't want to overdo it. Yeah, but we're
really
not like a giant mineral flush. We're talking like vitamin C. Like you really can't take enough vitamin C to hurt yourself, can you? Like big 1,000 megadose or whatever they're called pills. And then the other stuff wasn't minerals. It was something with an E, I think. And it seems like if you busted the little capsule open, it would be like some kind of green powder. It would be like a plant or something. I forgot what the other one was, but it didn't seem like a mineral to me. It seemed like a...
Yeah, like I said, I'm just taking vitamin C, vitamin B, magnesium, zinc, and garlic.
Oh, the zinc. That's the other one. It was zinc. And somebody was telling me, because I was like, I'll just be driving in the van. I got them in the glove box of the van there. And if I remember, like for gun rights policy, I was eating them because I didn't know how big how confined a room that would be. So, and I was getting heartburn or something. Like I haven't had heartburn in forever. Somebody was saying the zinc you want to have eaten before you take the zinc, and then you don't get that. But that was one of them. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there is some issue with I don't think I'm taking a massive load of zinc. I'm just taking whatever pills, come in generic bottle of zinc.
Yeah. Now see, I'm not, the stuff I'm taking is okay. It hasn't bothered me, but when we first started taking it, my wife is taking something different. Or taking a little different combination. And first couple of days, I took those. And one of the things that she was taking had cinnamon in it. It had
Oh,
cinnamon in
heck
it, and
no.
garlic in it, and thyme, and there was several things like that, plant-based stuff in it, like you're talking about. And the cinnamon was absolutely killing me for whatever reason. I don't know if it was because it was concentrate or what the deal was, but heartburn and reflux and all that was killing me. I had to quit taking that one.
Yeah, I'm only taking 15 milligrams of zinc. So I don't think that's a whole lot. So I'm not really worried about it. Like the pill, like 15 milligrams or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And 7 says that zinc is the magic one that's in airborne and other cold cures. So I guess, I don't know.
I think that was one of the ones that seemed like it was in all the different versions of Airborne. Zinc was in all of them.
Now, are you talking about the one that says like an E? Is it like echinacea or
Yeah.
echinacea?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just got a text from someone that said you should try this also. So
That's the stuff. And it's like it was in a capsule, like a capsule, right? Where you can pull it apart. And if you pulled it apart, it seemed like it would be a bunch of powder in there. Because I've had them like open in my mouth and they're gross.
yeah, I might have to go try to find some of that at Walmart. That's not what I
Well,
was looking
you
for
guys
though.
are talking about cinnamon. I had a client a long time ago, and I had web client, or was doing websites for people still, and they did spices. So we got a bunch of spices, and they would give us the sticks of cinnamon, where they're just like a rawhide chew for a dog, except they're made out of cinnamon. And
Mhm.
the idea was to stick that in a drink of something, like whatever water or something, and then that might be a way to get some cinnamon without it being like so concentrated that it's gross. I don't like eating cinnamon either.
Well, it's not. It wasn't gross. I mean, it was in capsules,
Oh, okay.
but still, it was a concentrated form. And once it hit my stomach, I mean, it set off a chain reaction that was just uncontrollable. It was horrible.
The uncontrollable cinnamon.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
so we got the room open, we've got the invite out, but we've been going for a while, so we'll see who jumps in or not. But this is Monday, so we usually try to talk about behind the scenes, how to. So you guys have gone for a couple to shop for a couple of times now, and you've gone other events where you travel to cover stuff. Any changes in your lineup as far as your tech? Anything that you're trying new this year that's going to be an unknown for you?
I added a DSLR to my um, attack loadout, if you want to call it that. And I've done some work with it before. I've done some videos filming with it. So yeah, I mean, I won't be new to it, but it is new since last year at SHOT Show for sure.
That seems like a lot because that's camera, big deal. But there's all the support gear, and then that's an expensive camera, so you're not just gonna like carry it around your neck. I'm guessing the whole time you're gonna have like
No,
something.
I've got a cage that goes onto my tripod that'll have my light and microphone and all that. So it's an aluminum alloy cage that screws into the tripod and it holds everything in place.
Cool.
We'll see. But other than that, no, I'm not intending anything else. And I did that because it's easier going to do video and stills and all that all in one camera. But I'm really worried about the battery life. I'm not really sure how that's going to hold up.
Yeah.
Do anything
I've
new?
got no. I'm trying to think. I really don't. I mean, I've got compared to SHOT Show last year. Yes, compared to everything else I've done over the last year, not really. SHOT Show last year, I had the little shotgun mic, and I left it. I left it here. Got it specifically going to use it for SHOT Show, and for whatever reason, it didn't end up in my bag. So that really sucked. So I will have that this year. I've had good luck, NRA, Tulsa, whatever, using that. So I'm not too scared of it. At SHOT Show, I think I can position in such a way and everything to get optimal audio with it. Um, the other biggest thing is last year at SHOT Show, and I changed right after SHOT Show because this sucked. But I had the iPhone. That was my primary phone. So I've now switched, and my camera phones and my talking phone is all the same phone. So I don't have to worry about that. They use all the same chargers, all the same cables, all of that good stuff. Because last year, for whatever reason, the charger and everything for my iPhone come up missing, and
Yeah, dude.
That was problematic. So that won't be an issue because every piece of gear I got charges from the same stuff. So curb that problem. But the basics are pretty much all going to be the same. Oh, I
Yeah,
did not have the monopod last year either. Now that I think about it,
not
but
for SHOT Show you didn't.
SHOT Show gave me the idea for that, believe it or not, because everybody thought that gimbal was so freaking cool, and this every show I go to, people just fall in love with that gimbal. But I walked by a place, and I can't even remember the booth now, and they actually sold like shooting sticks and like monopod rifle rests and stuff. And I walked by and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "Hey, man, does that got a thing on the bottom that screws into a tripod?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, man, can I look at it?" And so anyway, he took one of his monopods and actually screwed the little V, it's on the top
Oh,
of it
really?
off. Yeah, and screwed it onto my gimbal. And we played with it. We stuck it up in the air. This thing would go 6 foot or something. And we stuck it up in the air and turned it around and played with it. And I'm like, "Oh, man, I may have to look at getting the monopod, for this thing." Trying to bounce him out. I was thinking maybe he'd just let me keep that one, And he didn't. He made me unscrew it, unfortunately. And yeah, as soon as I got home, that was one of the things I went and got because I realized how valuable that was to be able to shoot video with yourself in the frame and somebody you're interviewing and all that, and be able to hold it and it's steady and all that good kind of stuff. It makes a profound difference
Yeah.
when you're using that gimbal. And as far as getting panning shots and things like that, it's really cool too because you can extend it out and you can really get some good smooth panning shots because you're not having to walk. You're just raking basically that monopod across whatever you're doing. So yeah, I guess that's an addition for SHOT Show anyway.
I think you had that for, didn't you not have that for Wanamaker? I want to say you
Yeah,
did.
I think I had. I think the same loadout pretty much I've got now. I had for. Yeah, I switched all that directly after SHOT Show, and so yeah,
Okay.
I think in Tulsa in April I had. I'll be running basically the same gear.
Did you have it? You had an NRA then, I guess, didn't you?
Yeah.
I guess I really didn't notice the monopod, I guess, at that point. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, they're talking about the dog vests and dog stuff out there in the chat at
Oh
SHOT.
yeah.
There's some sweet dogs they've got there at SHOT. Beautiful shepherds and all sorts of cool stuff there.
Yeah. And
The
they got
funniest
some.
one I saw last year, they had one that had a tack vest on, a helmet, and goggles on. It was the coolest dog I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you guys
hmm
saw that one or not.
That's what I was going to say. They don't just have the best, man. They have freaking all kinds of gear,
Yeah.
boots.
Are
I've
you
seen
going to
boots
get an
on.
outfit for Mello?
So I've thought about doing the service dog thing. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you know about that, but she's all fluffy, so it's a lot easier with Aura when he had the short hair or whatever to deal with that. So I just don't know. She doesn't seem like she cares. I made one, like just kind of took some stuff when I had the sewing machine going, and sewed some straps together to make a thing when I first had her because I didn't know if she was gonna, kind of some dogs don't like collars and they'll pull all the time or whatever and not want to walk. She's super nice. She don't care what she walks with, so she doesn't need a harness. I'm just concerned that when you put some kind of a, what do you call them, a vest, I guess, whatever you call like a dog harness thing on a dog with such long hair, it just looks goofy. I don't know if she'll like it, or she won't care at all. I just haven't really tried. She's
Her being that bright white, I mean, she would look cool in some of that stuff, I think.
Yeah, either something white or something like white multicam. Snow
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that'd be awesome. That would look sweet on her.
I was thinking I've got the one I stole her out with when Russ had a collar on her in the yard. I took that one with her, and it was like was that Realtree? Probably Realtree, something like Realtree. And it's all right. You can't really see it or nothing. But then when I was driving around the trip, I was in Wisconsin and farting around, and I saw this really cool surplus store, and they did their own nylon. They sewed their own nylon patches, but also dog stuff, so harnesses and the vests and everything. And they sewed them down in the basement. So they had one in like imagine like a fake multicam that almost looked kind of white. So anyway, I figured, okay, I'm going to buy that. I needed a new color for her anyway. That was like hers, you know. And then it was a little bit lighter color, but it's not white multicam. So I'm hoping that I can meet up. Do you know if Beechin is going to be at the show? Am I saying
I
his name?
believe he is. I believe he is. Yeah.
So I figure you guys can introduce me to that guy, and I'll see if I can't work something out to get one in white camo if he's got white multicam, because you know.
Oh, a sling? That'd be, yeah.
No, he does dog collars and stuff. Get a dog collar.
Oh, he does too. That's right. That's right.
But
I was saying you could do like a paracord collar. You could probably find some cool stuff for that.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'll see whatever he might have or want to do or whatever. Yeah. So otherwise, I don't know. I got Oro in there one time, but they got so many things everywhere that say no dogs. I don't know. I'm not trying to push it. You know, I've got no reason to try to get kicked out or anything. But you know, whatever happens will happen.
Right.
So Gary keeps jumping in and out. He'll be jumping in, I think. And I was going to say, so with thanks to Yankee and the posse and all their generous financial support, I've got some potential here. Now, I'm not looking to go nuts. You know me. I'm not looking to build a better mousetrap or try to get into production all of a sudden or anything. However, I've been thinking a second phone would be pretty freaking useful. So when I look to buy the same exact phone which I got, which would be my tendency, right? Buy one that I know works. I got a G. What do I have? I have a S5 Galaxy Active, so it's like super rugged or whatever, and it's worked great for me. And it's, you know, I know it. So if I can get one of them, it looks like for $82 for a rebuilt, like what they call it.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, sounds right.
What am I trying to say? When they refurbish them, I guess.
Refurbished, yeah.
Refurb, yeah.
Or not even a refurb, just a used one. Refurbished gets the $100 level. New one is $200 level, so that's out of the question. I don't need a new one. But when I'm looking at 82, 100, you know, a refurbished, I guess, would be better than just buying a used one off of somebody, because at least a refurbished went through and they looked at it, right? Or maybe a guarantee on it or something. But didn't somebody was talking about iPhones at Walmart for like $100? Was that Bob or somebody else was saying that they have like old iPhone, not new ones, but old iPhones that are on these like month by month. You don't have to have a contract.
Oh, the burner phones, yeah.
And I was thinking, I don't use Mac. There's some potential advantage to having an iPhone around, just so I can see how things work on an iPhone or whatever. But I'm not, interested in learning a bunch of stuff and having a learning curve. So I guess I'm throwing it out there. What do you guys think? Would you throw $80 at a used one, $100 at a refurbished, or that 100-ish at whatever the equivalent iPhone I would get for $100?
I mean, you're talking to a guy that's got 4 Galaxy S5s. So
really?
I know, I mean, I can get them for cheap, and I know what they do. I know what they can't do. I'm familiar with them. I mean, there's a lot of value to going after an iPhone if you want to try it out. But I'm, for one, I'm comfortable with this S5, and I've got 4 of them that I film a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, I've got 3 and 1. You know, that's including my regular, phone is the Galaxy S5. Now, what I will say about iPhone that sucks, even if you get the older, it doesn't matter. You're talking about a totally different charger than any other USB charging device out there, which really sucks.
Yep.
That's what I ran into last year.
And then
so you've got to keep up with that. You know, you've got to keep up with your charger and your cord, or if it goes bad or whatever happens, right? And then the next thing is storage expansion. You fill that up with pictures or video or whatever, you're screwed. You got to have some place to offload that. I mean, if you can't get on the Wi-Fi, which like at range days, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to get cell service or Wi-Fi to upload to a cloud or do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, how do you get it off there? I mean, you're going to have to take it somewhere, plug it into your laptop, you know, whatever, and try to offload it. Now, they do make what they call iDrives, which are basically a USB thumb drive, more or less. And I got one of those actually for SHOT last year, and I used it, and it worked. It worked pretty well. It was I can't remember if it was a 32 or a 64 gig, but my phone was only 16, so you can imagine with the apps, I didn't have a whole lot of room on there, right?
And that's just physically plug it into the port where you would charge it, and it sucks the stuff off like a.
Well, no, you plug it in. You can't charge it while it's plugged in. It's
I mean,
the same port,
through the charging port or whatever.
Yeah, you plug it into that charging port, and then you go into. You have to use the app, and then transfer your photos or whatever over to it, and then delete your photos and go on. But all of that takes time as well, right? It's not as easy as just turning it off, yanking a SD card out, or even putting a bigger SD card in to start with, which is what I do.
Yep.
Hey, G, have you where are you looking for your used phones if you're going to buy one used?
I didn't have any resources until like moments ago, so I've only looked at Amazon just now.
Okay, you've been looking at Amazon. I know you can get them off eBay, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would either look at Amazon or that one website I mentioned, Swappa, where basically everybody, if someone upgrades to a new phone, they sell it on Swappa, and that company checks to make sure that the serial number on it isn't bad, so it's not like a phone that somebody got and then did something bad on their account and got it blacklisted.
Yep. I've got
so they sell good phones.
Swap, and they've all been fine. Never had a problem, any of them.
Yeah, I would really recommend, because if sometimes I buy phones from eBay, but since I'm on a pay-as-you-go plan, I usually just use Swappa because I can just buy another Verizon phone and just use it with my service and be done with it. Yeah, I know you've got you use one of the other services, but again, it's even better if you're getting a GSM phone, because you can literally just get whatever GSM phone you like, pop in the SIM card, and then there you go.
But I think he's not going to be using it for a phone. He's just going to be using it for
camera, an extra app. Phone. Yeah. Because I can't even install the new, what is it, when everybody says to use Waze instead of Google Maps. Like, I don't have room on my stupid phone to do that.
And I'm going to ask you this, since you need to use more apps and you need a bit more app intensive, I know you've got the Galaxy S5, but have you looked at possibly getting like a used Note 4 instead? Because you can there's more storage space, there's more RAM on it, and there's more ability to have more apps on it than it would be a normal phone.
Hold on. So that was one of the next questions, is should I just get the same phone, which I'm familiar with and I know, but you're saying a what?
The Samsung Galaxy Note 4. It's just a bigger phone. It's more bigger phone. It comes with its own stylus. But again, it has more ability to use more. And it's got
because it's a tablet, or because it's got more.
It's just a bigger screen. It's just a bigger phone.
It's between a tablet and a cell phone. So it's like the next step up.
It has the ability to run more because it's got more RAM, or
it's got more RAM, and if you get the 64 gigabyte one, you can get more memory, but standard is either 16 or 32 gigabytes.
Yeah, but you can get SD cards and I can put a 64 gig SD card
exactly.
on my S5 and be fine.
Here's what I did with my S5. I got a 256 gigabyte SD card, and I threw that in my S5, and that did the trick. But again, do something like that. You can get a Note 4, and there you go. You can use way more apps, and you won't be bogged down, because you'll also have, unlike your 5, you'll have more memory too, so you'll be able to run better apps.
All right. So I don't know how to work this site. I think it's just trying to sell them. How do I buy one?
Swappa?
Yeah.
Swappa. Just here. Okay. Let me screen share it and run you through it. All right.
Yeah, I've used Swappa several times, and I've always had really good luck with them.
Okay. So basically, here's the website, swappa.com. Basically, you choose what's your provider. My provider is Verizon, so I'll click Verizon. Okay. And I just want
to go to AT&T. I use AT&T.
Okay, you use AT&T. We'll go to AT&T then. Okay, I want an AT&T phone. Okay, I don't want an iPhone. I don't want a tablet. So I want a phone. Okay, I want to use Android. So I'll click Android, and it'll show me a list of all the available Android phones that I could buy. As I said before, a Note 4. So we'll have to go down and see if there's any Note 4s.
Right there to the left.
Right there. $90 for a Note 4. That's not bad. It's a 32 gigabyte model, black. And
okay, so that's right. So you click on one of them people there, and it's like Craigslist or something. You're just buying it from that individual.
Kind of, yeah. But again, you pay for it via PayPal, so you're covered as far as the whole phone thing is going there, and buying, selling, and whatnot. And also, you can also see whether you think it's worth $90 or not. This one looks like it's been a little used and abused. $90 might be a good price for it. Might be stretching it. But you could go back and look at, like, say, one of these, a different one, and go back and see. The Note 4 does come with a stylus, so instead of trying to, use your finger several million times to get the screen to actually recognize it, with the stylus, it'll recognize it on every touch. And that's why I recommend getting something like a Note 4 if you're going to do any type of video or if you just need to use a lot of apps.
Anybody else voting for a Note versus the phone I already have that I know?
Well, I'll tell you this: the next phone that I get is going to be a Note for my personal phone because it's a bigger screen and all that. But, it's a good phone. It's my wife has had one and she loved it, and she just moved to an iPhone. But one of her phones she had previous was a Note, and she loved it. Yeah,
I'm moving to a Note 4 as soon as I can because I just need the more space myself. So I'm going to upgrade to a Note 4. I just figured I'd mention it because I'm upgrading.
I'm going to dissent because a lot of the mounts, gimbals, and other things, you start talking about more expensive when you start jumping up into a bigger phone. They only accommodate.
Yeah. If you're just going to hold it, that's one thing. But if you're going to mount it, it's going to be a different size now.
I have looked into that actually, and the 4 works with the gimbal Active 4, I think it is, just fine.
Are you talking about a specific gimbal that it works with?
Yeah, the one you've got the Q, the smooth Q.
Yeah, I've got the smooth Q.
Yeah, I think it's like the Active 4 or something like that. Gimbal works with the Note as well.
Okay, I still don't. You're saying Active 4 gimbal. I don't know what you're saying.
I forget the name of the model. The name of the model of the gimbal.
But you're still saying I've got to buy another gimbal. So I would be looking at another device plus another gimbal. No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So pulling it away from the phones for a bit, I got something to think about there. And again, my goal now isn't to just buy more tech or whatever. I'm not trying to get loaded down with stuff. So I'll keep it in mind. And it's just that right now mine is getting pretty bogged down. And I don't know. We haven't gotten much feedback on the idea of $100 one from Walmart. But I guess now that you showed me this site, when I look for the Galaxy S5s, they're more like, there's one of them here for $69.
Right.
There's some for $75. So,
which is honestly about what they should be, really.
Okay, it says fast free shipping, but it's Monday. If I ordered it today, it ships tomorrow. Am I even getting it before shot? So it might be a dumb thing to pursue. Like I say, it's not my goal to gird myself with a bunch of shit. But at least this gives me an idea that maybe it's not worth going to Walmart and buying one for $100 when I could get what I still think would be better is the exact same phone for $75, right?
Well, if you can find it for like 80 something or whatever on Amazon that can guarantee you 2-day shipping, then that's probably right now for this particular event where you're going to get it from Amazon in a couple of days. That might be the best way to go if you're going to get one before shot.
Okay, so again, we don't have to turn this into a buying thing, but I appreciate your input on it. And maybe I can talk somebody into just letting me borrow a better phone. Bob gave me a Windows phone, which I want to say it's decent because it seems nice and it looks nice and everything, and it's kind of quick, but it's like everybody hates Windows, so it just doesn't work with nothing. I use it as an MP3 player.
And I didn't know they still made Windows phones.
Well, Bob gave it to me, so it might be 3 years old. I don't remember what year he gave it to me or how long he had it before, but he couldn't use it for nothing either, and it didn't work in Canada, so he said I could have it. And I kind of like the idea, but then on the other side, I don't hardly even charge it. So that's why I'm I'm not 100%. I would have made the decision. I wouldn't even have talked about it if it was a done deal. I just don't know if it's a waste of $70 because I'm never going to use the damn thing. We'll turn it into a van chat or into a van chat discussion at some point, because if I do have a second device, I'm assuming it'll Wi-Fi to my internet on the van or whatever. So, and that's where getting into like what Clover was saying, how it mounts, and what Night Strike's saying with the larger screen. If I get a second device and it is larger and it's capable of working in the van as like a map, and I can do things like Waze on it and the gas buddy or whatever that thing's called, to like, you know, do the things that I'd like to do with my phone, but I just don't want to do them with my phone. I'd rather have a second thing doing them. I might talk about that in some other show or something. Pink is saying
Now,
his.
didn't you get an old? You got a tablet last year, didn't you? Like a small tablet from Walmart. Do you still have that?
Well, that's why I'm not anxious to buy more crap. Yeah, when I was in Pennsylvania heading into New York, I didn't pay attention, and I got there and I had to wait a day because I got there too early. They didn't have tours when I got there, so I was farting around in Pennsylvania trying to figure out what to do with my guns. I was hanging out in a Walmart, and I bought this tablet for $75, thinking I could use it as a map in the van instead of the GPS, which was, I mean, I bought my GPS in 2012 at like a truck stop on sale, so for like $79. So it was an old GPS in 2012, and every time I'm driving around the middle of nowhere, it's got me driving like on the field, you know, because it doesn't know where the roads are and stuff.
Right.
So, and it takes me like dumb places. It takes me to like behind the place, like in a cul-de-sac in the neighborhood behind it. You know, it really sucks at bringing you in. So and then plus it's mounted in the cop car, so it doesn't mean no good in the van. So anyhow, so I bought that tablet thinking I could use it like that, but it is like, I mean, if somebody needs it for like their kids or something, I'm sure it plays nursery rhymes fine, but it's like a toy. It takes like an hour to turn on. Battery lasts for like an hour if you don't do anything with it. It's inadequate. I wasted the money, and that's why I bought it on a stupid whim at a Walmart like a sucker. You know, I should have bought it probably for $40 online or from Hong Kong and $30 from Hong Kong or something. And it would have been fine for just playing games on, I'm sure, but it just can't handle it doesn't refresh fast enough or something. Like it can't handle the map. Whenever I do get it up there, it just struggles to have the map open.
I got you. Yeah, I think any of these phones would do the trick. It's just dependent upon what you know, how much you want to spend and what you can find. But I think any of them will do what you're looking for it to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Pink was saying, I was about to say, Pink says he got a second phone at a Walmart special on a different carrier. Between me and Marco, we had all three carriers covered. And that's something I wasn't thinking about either. I was going to throw it on my existing plan because I have that, whatever the hub thing is called. But there is something to that. Whenever we drove around in 12, I did have AT&T and Verizon, I think. At least I had two plans that were different coverages. So they had different, you know, they overlapped each other. They weren't just one plan using the same towers or two plans using the same towers. Do any of you guys have multiple plans like that? Or are you running like a month-to-month plan on a different carrier intentionally?
No, I just with AT&T.
Now I do have a Verizon phone, because the AT&T tower here, we got no home phone, of course, nobody does anymore. But the AT&T tower here, being taller than the Verizon tower, and for several other reasons, I guess, occasionally it'll get hit by lightning. And it takes them a few days to fix it or whatever. And so I've got a Verizon like pay as you go, and you know, if the tower gets hit here or something, all I got to do is get online, and it's whatever, $30 or something. I can turn that on, forward my number over to it, you know, real quick, and it's done. But outside of that, as far as traveling or something like that, no, I don't use it for that.
Yeah. You know, I've always had just AT&T. I never kind of gone outside that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Verizon. That's it.
All right, we're going to palate cleanse here for a bit and get back to what we're all here for. And guy that comments, I don't know what he's doing out there. Is he having a conversation with somebody I'm missing? He says YouTube and tech giants pushing gun control. I'm assuming that means our fault for not selectively filtering out anti-gun organizations, or was it an inevitability? So I don't know if he's just griping or if that's part of an ongoing conversation, but just as a way to mix it up. YouTube and tech giants pushing for gun control. Is that our fault for not selectively filtering out anti-gun organizations? So I'm not sure what that means. Where do we filter out anti-gun organizations? And I don't know what selectively filtering them out means, like from where, unless you guys have some insight. Am I missing a part of a conversation? And then was it an inevitability? I don't know what it was yet. So the tech giants pushing for gun control, is that an inevitability? Anybody want to stab into any of that meaty topic?
I don't know if we have enough time.
Yeah.
I don't know that I understand exactly what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
I think what he's saying is he said we should have chosen another tech company. Maybe, instead of using YouTube. Well, YouTube was what there was at that time, wasn't there? I mean, that really wasn't anything that could handle what everyone was trying to do early in the days, were they, G?
Well, and if that's what we're talking about, YouTube didn't have a problem initially, and that's what I've said all along about the next greatest, latest thing. That's why we have to be able to adapt. We shouldn't fear these platforms or fear learning these platforms or getting on these platforms, because the next greatest platform may be right around the corner. Let's say that it's Gunstreamer, and I don't know if the Gunstreamer folks are out here, and I mean no disrespect when I'm just using the name like this, but let's say that it's Gunstreamer, and let's say that it's the next biggest thing. They get live, it blows up, and Facebook comes along and offers them $6 billion for Gunstreamer. Well, I wouldn't fault them one damn bit for selling Gunstreamer. And then you know what's going to happen from there, of course. So, just because it's the next thing on the horizon and it seems all, First Amendment, Second Amendment friendly, whatever, doesn't mean that it's, even if it blows up or whatever happens, it's necessarily going to always be that way. So you can't foretell the future. So you have to deal in the now and the laws of probability. And the best way to do that is to be on every single platform that you can get on. Know everything about them, and as soon as one starts to come up, get on it and get familiar with it. That way you're there. Should it take off, at least you're able to take advantage of the heydays before it may go south on you.
Oh shit, does this work? So platforms are like calibers, and you can be invested in a caliber all you want, but maybe that doesn't work. I was going to say you're shooting though, so if you're shooting 9 or you're shooting 22, shooting 45, you're shooting 30, you're shooting. If you're totally invested in 9 and then or 357 SIG or 45 gap, right? And then the caliber's gone. Do you go, I'm done shooting? Or
right.
You just buy another caliber and keep going, right? You learn these tools, learn the ways to use the internet, learn how to communicate effectively. And then who cares the medium? Hopefully it's Gunstreamer tomorrow, right? Right now it's YouTube. We're all waiting for it to crap out because we're sick of it. But, hopefully we'll figure out a way to get Night Strike some funding, and it'll be GunTube will be the thing. And then people will go, man, we want to hang out on GunTube. That guy likes milsurps and he doesn't like hunting enough or something,
No, I like hunting. I like milsurps. I like everything.
I think that this, as far as YouTube, I mean, tech happened. It happened. Watch the movies. There's really neat histories of the development of tech. It comes from electronics. It comes from solid state. So, it comes from the military. It comes from NASA. We were building airplanes and missiles and complicated stuff using the electronics at the time, which were vacuum tubes and everything. And as soon as they created solid state to deal with all the vacuum tubes and the delicacy, the fragileness of the vacuum tubes, boom, like clever people figured out how to use those integrated circuits in clever ways. And then as soon as that happened, it's an exponential growth and creativity and development and in bringing theoretical things to life. All that stuff happened in California. Unfortunately, they had influence in their area, right? If that some of that stuff happened in Texas, if Texas Instruments and Microsoft would have stayed in Texas, we'd have a different YouTube, right? It'd be you fucking barrel or something, you know. It would be pro gun as shit, and then people would be bitching that the Google is too pro gun or whatever. Texas Google is too pro gun. I think it just you know, part of like why is Hollywood like that? Because it's based in Hollywood. What if it was based in Texas? It'd be a different movie coming out.
Right.
Exactly. You had YouTube that was, you know, consumed by Google, and you look at all of these upstart companies. I think you know, Clover hit on. Let's say Gunstreamer. And Gunstreamer gets big. You know, who's to say that Facebook, who is anti-gun, doesn't offer them $6 billion just to close it down? And who's going to turn $6 billion away? I mean, you got Austin, who's funding this from his, you know, his own private account. You get offered $6 billion from Facebook. Well, you'd be stupid not to take that. Well, then Facebook just turns and basically buys it just to shut it down because they don't want pro-gun material out there. And they're probably going to have a non-compete clause in that, so he can't start up another Gunstreamer for another 3 years or whatever. So yeah, you look for the next one. You know,
could always potentially do other efforts though.
You could, but what I'm saying is you'll just have to adapt. You'll have to find the next one, and then when it goes away, you'll just have to continuously find the next one.
I don't even think
that's just the way it's going to be.
I don't think it's a burden though. Here's what
no. That's what I'm saying is that we just have to be able to adapt to it. We just have to be ready for it. We know it's coming. You know.
Well, I think it's inevitable. Is I guess I'm saying. I don't think it's like we have to. I think it's a development of. When you think of like YouTube and Google, YouTube was created by somebody, and they had kicked in the balls and kitten videos over there. And then YouTube or Google came along and said, oh, we could use that tech for our bigger, greater goals, right? They bought it and developed it. Now it became a subsidiary of a larger company. It became a department. It became, you know, those group of people over there. But at that point, where are they invested in the, I don't know, whatever you want to call like the spirit of the whole thing? You know, I'm sure that they're invested, you know, with the concept and what they're trying, you know, the greater goals of the company and all that. But you look at a Gunstreamer, that's 4 people. That's 4 human beings. And that's how many creators are working with it. And it's the audience and everything. So those 4 human beings are developing the code. They're developing whatever marketing. They're dealing with us as creators, bitching and moaning and complaining and patting them on the back and talking shit about them. They're dealing with the audience complaining about the, you know, interface. They're complaining about it's green instead of blue. They're complaining that, you know, so doesn't get enough FaceTime or too much FaceTime over here, or, you know, all the different things that they're getting. All of that is creating 4 people who have an experience that's name 4 people at YouTube that could have that experience anymore. It's departments. Name 4 departments of Google that are responsible for keeping track of that for the planet. You know what I'm saying? Gunstreamer, the 4 individuals are going to get, with our participation and support, are going to get to where, like, if Clover says somebody comes along and says, oh, I like the tech there, let me buy it. I'll bet you they'll be like, hell yeah. Like if somebody bought gun channels from me, like, yeah, I'll buy it because I can build gun channels like faster and better tomorrow that would hit the things that people care about in gun channels, right? So I'll bet you if somebody came along after a couple of years and said, hey, let me buy that. Same with Night Strike. Hey, let me buy that old-fashioned rusty gun tube off you. Fuck yeah, here, take it. Now I'm going to go build the next version, which, you know, might have some elements from that past thing, but that's, I think it's not even like you have to learn the next thing. It's like they're probably waiting, you know, it's almost like relieving a burden or relieving a scratching an itch. Like, yeah, here, take that so I can go do the thing that I know people actually want. You know, we started with this in the beginning of 2017. As we built it, you know, we're adapting and building, but we now know what the people really want or what would be better. So heck yeah, I think that's what it's all about.
And they just updated their homepage. The way the homepage looks. If you noticed that today.
Gunstreamer?
Yep. We just found that about 2 hours ago.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's a little messed up.
Not your channel page, but the actual homepage.
Yeah, the homepage, they added a featured video, but it appears to be, at least on my page, they picked one that's 8 months old, but it's got the most views.
You mean this featured video is new? I don't know what's different.
No. If you go to your Gunstreamer page, see it comes up with that home page.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
I think they're just picking the one that has the most views on your channel, probably. I don't know.
I would like it a lot better if there was a gun channels thing down here instead of sucky face shitty crap book.
I may have to set one up for GunTube.
Yeah, maybe I'd use GunTube if it had a affiliate link back to Gun Channels.
I'm sure you would.
Let's go over to Gun Channels and see who's got affiliate links back over to them. Oh, look at that. Oh, no, look at that. It's day one. Anyway.
Hey, got a message from me.
How about them apples?
New subscriber, blah, 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 blah. What's all that about? Is that spam, or is that somebody from like China or Japan or Korea or somebody jumping in?
Let me go check. If it's Japanese, I can be able to tell you.
So Rob is saying, I don't know if Rob's in a mood or what, but he says, the tyrants of the past thought the tools of IBM were great. Imagine what they would think of what we have today. So anybody read the book called IBM and the Holocaust?
I have not.
I did a book review on it sometimes. I don't know where I saw this book on tape somewhere one time, and we drive back and forth to Vegas a lot, and books on tape. The road, was no radio at all before satellite radio or anything. Book on tape, right? So I had no idea. So IBM comes from cash registers back in the olden days of physical or whatever they call it, mechanical. You push the thing and like mechanically gears change, and that's how the cash register would work.
Everybody watching.
Huh?
What was that?
Someone was watching the video.
Oh,
I don't know.
So anyway, it was really interesting how the development of IBM, and it turns into the census, right? They eventually get to where they help the U.S. government with the census. The war starts with Germany, and that didn't just turn on one day. They were being freaking tyrannical over there and invading countries and everything. Anyway, long story short, they would have never been able. The only way that they were able to keep track of all the Jews and all the family lines down to like the 8th generation or whatever they were doing to kill everybody. They were like horrible at that. The reason they were able to even do it was IBM built the computers for the census over here, and they sold them to them, and then created companies that existed over there to sell them the product. So they are assholes. I've never bought an IBM product since then, if I can help it. And yeah, that's literally the IBM cards, those old punch cards. That's how the Nazis were able to do the horrible shit they did with the Jews. And I can't even imagine if a Hitler type of person were to have a Facebook. Yikes.
I don't even want to think about the prospect of him being able to spread his message through Facebook. Can you imagine?
All I can picture are badly written posts of Mein Kampf. Ugh. No, thank you.
All right, well, that took it down a horrible road. Thanks, Nazis, for being a bunch of fucks.
Yeah, let's not go down that road again.
Yeah, Nazis are bad, okay?
No, let's not blow it off. Nazis are horrible fuckers that killed the world, tried to kill the world. So, where do we take it from there? Do we come out of that? Or did that just kill it?
I like guns.
Yeah, so we're talking about the SHOT Show, talking about what we can do to make it better. We're going to have a specific show on Thursday, and I can change that at this point. Sarge said anytime late is good for him. I don't know what our his schedule is like. I'd like her to join if possible. And I don't know if I have her direct email, but I guess I should also hold Clover. I sent those faxes, like one for you and one for her, not one for you to do at your bidding, and then another one for you to just hold on to.
Oh, is that a fact?
So
I'm just gonna make a statement about who paid for all of that. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, actually, Yankees viewers paid for that. Actually, so I wasn't sure at the time when I sent them. Clover was like gracious enough to spend his own money again on getting some patches and stuff. So I had sent those along. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get to SHOT Show whenever you bought that stuff. So I can take the rest of them and give them to everybody else. But no,
I can't believe nobody jumped on that. I mean, those are old school, everything that matters patches. So not like there's going to be any more of those.
Yeah, seriously.
Right.
Maybe Pink bought a bunch. Pink tends to buy a bunch to help make the purchases even possible. I don't remember with that one. It was a long time ago. But somebody might have bought a bunch. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be like 5 somewhere. It's not going to be a lot. And that's not going to be somebody who puts them in a store. That's going to be somebody who trades them or whatever. So nobody's been buying the decks either. I'm not trying to sell them, but the idea was that I think I had like 10 decks or something up there, and that would throw money at the thing. We're covered now. I'll get dinner that night, but yeah, I'll just bring whatever decks I got. So everybody will have decks that shows up at SHOT for sure. And I keep thinking like I'm forgetting somebody. Whoever's coming with Sarge isn't Gun Channels, right? That's somebody else.
Sarge. I don't know if Boomer's going with him.
I wasn't sure if he's going with Boomer or with somebody else. So
I thought Sarge was going as crew for somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
And you never know. Somebody might be able to show up. You never know when things change or whatever. Schedules change, or somebody gets a free trip to Vegas, or like gets, I don't know. You never know.
The Sarge will give you an interesting perspective because he's in law enforcement, so he can give you the law enforcement perspective.
Pink, we were talking about those big ass. I guess they're the fifth gen of Every Second Matters patches. Those ones where I made them super large accidentally. You know what? Here's another thing. That set of patches. Okay, I don't remember. It was either that set or the glow in the dark, but I also found some of them glow in the darks, right? One of those two was on a platform called, what was it called? It was called like Gun Fund Me or something like that. And it was an effort to create a pro-gun, pro-2A Kickstarter so that projects that were pro-2A could have a place, like somebody could create a gun and put it on there, or a gun shop could go on there and get a range or something. I think that's one of the successful ones they had, was somebody was able to like crowdfund an upgrade to their shop and put in a range. And by doing like memberships and stuff as part of the crowdfunding. We did that project like in a March or something, and I went back to do taxes in like September, and it was gone to where like the site didn't exist, and I couldn't even pull my like records of who bought stuff, and like it was just gone.
That sucks.
Yeah, and then they turned into a channel reviewing gear, and they're on full 30.
There you go. Mike's out there listening, he said, so I sent him a link if you don't mind, because this is his first SHOT show, but he's out there listening right now.
No, I gave Mike a link too. So I tried dividing. You're talking MW Tactical, Mike. Yeah, Mike, I sent you a link. So I think what's happening is it's going into spams. I divided it into 2 emails tonight to only 10 people each, instead of one with like 4. I didn't invite all 40. I invited 29, I guess. So one of them had like 10, and one of them had like 19. But I don't know. I guess I should start doing something else to get emails out to. Maybe that's why we're not seeing people show up, if they're not getting the email. Did you guys get the email from me? You all should have got it. I put Gary on there.
I got the email.
No, I didn't get an email.
Text. After you sent me the text, though.
I'm shadow emailed. I'm email banned somehow.
Shadow banned, yeah.
But no, that's the whole point. I sent a link to Sarge and to Mike and to some of the other people I know that are out there doing 2A stuff that are, I think, going to SHOT, so that we can talk about just some of the tech stuff and chargers and that kind of thing, whatever we end up talking about. Well, they sell coat hangers at SHOT. What is that supposed to mean?
That's a joke that started a little after Christmas, where
they sell
FFL slash SOT2 made an auto sear, drop-in auto sear for an AR-15 out of a coat hanger.
I got you. Okay. Mike's here.
There you go. Got a new logo. Very stickerish. Getting ready for printing on that one. Oh, your mic's not working though.
All right. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, we hear you, Verizon.
We hear you.
Yeah. I want to say give a good thanks to Ghost for making that logo for me.
Ghost makes some really good logos, I tell you.
Well, they all look like his, though. It's a problem.
Well, everyone asked me they want a round logo. So
damn, Ghost, create a new template for logos already.
Well, what I'm saying is everyone that wants the logo, they asked me for a round logo. So
the best part about it was I didn't even ask for it. It just showed up in my email one day.
That's true. That's true.
I asked for mine.
But as far as that goes, I mean, it's tight. It's you can see it in a square. And that's important, right? And then half the time now, it's not even a square. They crop it to round. So I think that's a pretty efficient, whatever equation for a logo.
Well, G was asking Mike everybody what kind of tech, like cameras and all that stuff. What are you taking to SHOT Show this year, as far as cameras and loadout and stuff?
Oh man, I'm just gonna use my telephone and my everyday Sony camcorder that I record everything else with. I'm not going all fancy. What you see is
bring
what
a
you
tripod or anything.
If they let me get on it with a plane, you know. So, but like I said, more than anything else, I'm not bringing all my setup out there. Like I'm not even bringing my computer out with me. So, everything that I capture on my phone is what I'm gonna shoot back out until I get back home, and then I can edit and do whatever else I'm gonna do.
Oh, that's interesting. So are you going to be clouding it or backing it up at all?
I bought that Google Pixel phone, and they give you 2 years of free storage. So
Unlimited?
Yeah, for just only for the 2 years.
Oh wow!
When you first buy it,
storage is nice.
Yeah, so I think I'll be good on that aspect. But then, like I said, my camcorder, I got those little removable little cards. I forgot what they're called.
SD cards.
Yeah, the SD cards. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not going fancy because, like I said, this is my first time, and this right here is more of the gauge of what to do, how to prepare for a show of this scale.
Right on. You been to NRA?
Yeah, I've been to the NRA, and everybody keeps saying multiply the NRA times 10, but
4.
The other aspect of it is it's all industry, and it's not like open to the public. So that's another aspect you got to look at. So
yeah, I mean, it's not better or worse. It's just different, and yeah, it's definitely different. So not bringing a laptop. Clover, where did you guys end up last year? I forget. I never actually got to your room or nothing to see what your setup, but that's interesting. So back in the day, we brought towers and big old TV, whatever you call it, like a big square, thing, like whatever you can call it, old monitors. We brought a printer the first year because back in the day you had to have a waiver for every person that was in a picture, and they were worried about it. So like we literally carried around pieces of paper for people to sign. So we brought a printer so we could print all that. But we've always had a challenge, even now. I mean, we've gone through. I have a little tiny, like a little tiny Dell. Remember when those little tiny laptops were a thing?
Yeah.
I can throw all my old pictures. So I got this, for a couple of years there. I brought that little tiny Dell, thinking I was all cool, but it sucked. It was like so slow to move pictures and stuff. Our issue is we try to take a bunch of stuff, for the year, get as many pictures as you can because it's free and you're paying a lot of money to get them. And then, I don't know, we could talk about it separately, but we tried to devote hours each night to getting content up ASAP, to be the first to get content up, because that, we felt is an element of it. Then the third was backup, like having when you have, like at some years we would have 5 to 7 people taking pictures, bringing them all to a hotel room at night. That was an elaborate, like little choreography thing there where, one of us would just be manipulating pictures and storing, and stuff got lost. I'm not saying we were perfect, but backup. I mean, backup. You pay a lot of money for these pictures. So a couple of elements there is how you set up in your hotel room / wherever you're going to be. Mike, you're staying with somebody at like their house?
Yeah, I'm staying with family.
Yeah, you got it made because you'll have like a desk or a table or something like actually legitimate. But like hotel rooms, oh man, we always go bare minimum hotel room. So no like extra little suite or anything with like a desk. So we're like on beds trying to work laptops or doing weird things with chairs, trying to make benches out of them and stuff. But so how do you guys set up your rooms or your stuff? And with the amount of stuff you're bringing, what do you do about distributing pictures each night to get them off your cameras or phones, and then backups? So it's a lot of stuff. I'll just throw it out there for everybody. Let's dig into that for a while.
Well, last year, it was just phones for me, and I think I'm pretty sure I had my tablet as well. So, I had 3 phones, I guess, and a tablet. and that was it. So it was, as far as what went out during shot, it was just live streams, man. Honestly, live streams and a few Instagram posts. That was about it. Um, this year it's gonna be more of the same in a way. Um, I'm not concerned with getting things out right away. Depending on in what light you portray them and how you do your videos or your pictures or whatever, I don't think that it's absolutely necessary to get them out that night or even during shot. And the reason I say that is a lot of the stuff we're covering. I talked about this earlier, and I've talked about it several times. A lot of stuff that we do is evergreen content, and I tell this to people that's starting up that maybe hesitant to turn on a camera and do something, but turn on a camera and review a pistol you've got that maybe they haven't made it for 30 years. You know, that's evergreen, and somebody's going to be looking for that. And when they look for it, I got old videos on my channel that people comment and give me a hard time because things have happened since that video was made, and they want to point that out like I just made the video yesterday. So they're not even paying any attention to the date. So depending on how you frame stuff like that, it doesn't really matter. So I don't focus on that necessarily that much. My plan for this year is going to be to take, I'm really going to work Instagram hard because I've been working Instagram hard. So my goal is to do a flurry of Instagram, pretty much, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 times a day. Just do kind of a flurry thing with Instagram where you're doing like, maybe 4, 5, 6 posts, just, multiple times a day. And then, of course, do a little bit of live and then work on the produced stuff when I get home. The bigger picture for me is going to be, honestly, it's going to be the contacts and set up podcast appearances and, try to do some different things like that for down the road. So it's not anything, again, I've got to do necessarily during shot. It's utilizing shot to make those connections to then, have that content that's, 6 months from now. And 6 months from now, if there's a new product or that product's failed or, whatever, they can talk about that as well. So it's got kind of an added, I don't know, it's kind of an added dynamic to what we did last year.
Before somebody else jumps in, let me challenge the audience because this isn't supposed to be sit back and watch. It's supposed to be interact and use your keyboards. So I asked the question and then Clover answered it, and that's interesting to me. I don't want to cut off too much here, so I won't start a whole topic, but I'm curious to see what the people out there listening are thinking as far as time-wise. Do you look forward to SHOT Show in order to see what comes up first? Or are you at the edge of your seat watching for the new stuff as it comes in live? Or like Clover said, who cares as long as it comes out and, more the merrier as far as, then there's something to watch later. I'm just curious to hear what the audience says. And I know it kind of derailed Ghost there and whoever else, but the questions were, how do you guys set up your rooms with your stuff? How do you deal with moving stuff off your phones? And then backups.
Well, I can answer that if you want me to, but the one thing that's going to be different for me this year than was last year is I really didn't do Instagram last year. So the one thing that I'll be doing as far as you get it instantly is Instagram. And when I'm at booth, I'll take a picture of a new guns or different stuff, and I'll put pictures on Instagram, but the videos are going to come out after I get home. So I think really the only real-time thing that I'm going to be trying to do throughout SHOT Show is Instagram. That's easy. And you take a picture and you upload it. It's there.
You mentioned that I didn't get to it for whatever reason, but I will be taking my laptop this year. I don't know how much I will actually be using, but it is gonna go, and I will have, of course, my backup drive. So yeah, with all the backups, that's very important. That's something that I did not do last year. I mean, everything was on. Everything was on phones and all of that. And if it had got lost or broken or whatever, I'd have been screwed. So, yeah.
Now, what were the questions again, G?
Back to
I guess I threw a bunch of them at you. I'm learning from Ghost. Throw a mess of
right
questions
on.
out, see what happens. So
Thanks.
I was thinking about the stuff, you know, when Mike said that he wasn't bringing a laptop, like, man, it'd be great to not bring a laptop. But then, so I was wondering what you guys do in your rooms, like as far as spreading stuff out, or how do you create an office or not. And then again, the reason I worry about a laptop or I have to bring one all the time is because my phones and my cameras just never held enough stuff, and I didn't have an arsenal of chips or whatever, so I would download onto hard drives. But I did that also as backup, so because we lost stuff in past years, and that's frustrating. So as we're pulling off of the phones, I'm also rating. I'm backing up twice so that I've got two physical things in my possession: one that I leave at the hotel, one that I leave in the car. So if something gets ripped off or ruined with rain or something happens, you know, I still have what we're spending all this time and effort on. So the three questions were, how do you do it? Like, how do you arrange your room or whatever? How do you deal with pulling stuff off the devices? And then how do you deal with backups?
Well, as far as setting the office up, I am bringing my laptop this year as well. I didn't bring it last year. I'm going to bring my laptop and I'll set that up on the desk, whatever, in the hotel. When I get home, I'll do the same thing you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and pull my stuff off the SD cards and put them on my computer hard drive, and then I'll also put them on an external hard drive. So I'll have them both backed up in two different places. And then I'll also keep them on the SD card as well. And I'm bringing a ton of SD cards. So I'll have three different places where that stuff will be on there. And I won't erase those SD cards. I'll just have them in three different places. And then I have a bunch of outlets that I'll be having everything charged up the night before. So, I mean, I'll be using that for basically charging. I have a dock that has like 6 different things you can charge at once. I'll be charging everything at night. But as far as clearing your...
I just have to remind everyone, this chat has a strict no docking policy, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I will not have a dock, but I'll be charging my things through a floating gizmo. How about that?
No, that's a good point too. And do you guys bring? I always bring at least one. I leave them in the van now. The whatever you call, like I call them octopus, like the thing you shove in the wall, and then it's got 8 power things on it because like you're at a hotel and it's got 2 and they're behind the bed or something.
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 of those just in case, but I've got one that'll plug into an outlet that has like 7 or 8 USB plugins in that instead of like other ones, you know?
Yeah, me too.
So Pink is talking about getting into Hangouts and stuff like that. You guys are all just doing it all phone. You're all phoning it in this year to the things we're going to be doing, or the what if you get there and it turns out you meet some people and they're doing a Hangout or something, or they're doing a Skype or something. You're just going to phone it. Nobody's bringing a laptop, in other words.
Yeah, I'm bringing a laptop. Are you talking about 2-shot show?
I'm not bringing it to the actual show. It's going to stay in the hotel.
Maybe that's where I misunderstood. Okay. You're bringing one to Vegas, Mike, or not even bringing it to Vegas?
I'm not even bringing it to Vegas.
Okay, I guess I was thinking not even to Vegas and not the show itself. You're right. I never bring a theater 2-shot show to the building. Like, there's no need.
Yeah, I think the one thing with me was when I went to it was when I went to the USAA convention and NRA, because USAA was smaller than NRA, but I think I stayed out like getting content and talking to people and interacting with everybody. By the time I got back to the hotel room, I went to sleep, and by the time I woke up, it was time to do it all over again. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the one factor that, and then 2, traveling around on an airplane with all that stuff, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cut it down. So I'm trying to come to Vegas with 1 bag, 2 minimum.
And with the option of going home with stuff, or just because you want to travel light both ways?
No, anything I get extra that I have to bring home, I'm going to put it in the mail and just ship it back to me.
Okay. And I can definitely understand, because I only got the 1 laptop. Well, I got 2 laptops now. 2 laptops now, thanks to Pink, but I've only got like 1 laptop usually at a time, and I don't like 2. I'm always concerned when I'm dragging it around, because just more potential for it to break.
Well, Mike mentioned something that I've got some experience with. It's not the greatest. So something to keep in mind, Mike. You may want to do a couple things. If you're mailing stuff back, if it's something you're not in a hurry for necessarily, and you've got somebody in Vegas that's willing to do it, get them to send it, the week after shot or something like that, or maybe send it by me or well, I'll be driving, and I think G-Webs is by one of us, and then let us mail it. Let us mail it somewhere else, because I'm guessing probably because of just all the mail and the back and forth around shot, I had a horrible time with mailing stuff last year.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's a wonder. It's a wonder nothing got lost, and it's a wonder nothing got broken or fell out of a box.
That's not even.
I was going to hit G up this year. Going to say, hey, if I have to, maybe G could take it back to Tucson and mail it that way if I pay you or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, not even a problem. And I was going to say the same thing going the other way. If you guys want to mail stuff out here to drag up to shot for you, no problems. So I think Clover did it last time. But if it helps, I don't know if it works or not. It was a useful experience, or well, you were flying last time, right?
Yeah, I was flying last time, so that's one of the reasons we decided to drive this time, was to eliminate any of that issue.
So if you want to mail you to me, or
I mailed you one box, and I was able to minimize my clothes and all that kind of stuff, and actually get all that into one box. And I mailed that to you. But then coming back, there was either 4 or 5 boxes, and one box showed up like it should have, and the rest were all lost and rerouted, and then they got here and they had gashes ripped in them, and it was horrible once they finally all showed up. I did finally get everything, and I don't think anything fell out or was missing, but still, it was a real touch and go experience. So I'll never do that again.
Additionally, I got the deal because I ship all the time, where I get probably cheaper shipping than most mailbox places, because I get my rates at the wholesale rate that my service thing gets or whatever. So hopefully it'll be a little bit cheaper too.
No, that's a possibility. But yeah, I don't mean I won't use the mailing option ever again. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't want it to leave from Vegas there during SHOT Show, and everything for sure.
Yeah, because you went down like the post office, didn't you, the day you left?
I did, the day I left.
Yeah, that was a nightmare for you.
Yep. Well, not only that, but like I said, I guess just the influx of mail and people shipping stuff back and to and from and whatever, or maybe Vegas is just that darn busy all the time. I don't know, but it wasn't a good experience. Not trying to get it back home.
They'll say that SHOT Show is the 5th largest convention in Vegas. So doesn't it stand to reason that maybe with Christmas and, I don't know, Mother's Day, I don't know, whatever other shipping holidays they might have, but that only stands to reason there can only be like 4 times in Vegas where it could potentially be more busy as far as that kind of stuff, with like, you're talking like the post offices that are near the Strip and near all the convention centers and stuff.
Right.
That's
well,
they're busier times.
You got a postal holiday too, with Martin Luther King Day that falls there and shot a lot. So, and the post office they're not even open that day, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's Monday. Yeah, that's that Monday.
So that's a whole day they're shut down that they've got to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, as I said, yeah, that was a
and then Pink mentions Pink also mentions there's 4 conventions going on at one time, basically. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, and the one is so much bigger than us that it needs the real convention center. We're only getting the tiny convention center.
Uh-oh, we lost half the chat.
Yeah, they're on phones. That's what happens. Let's see. So we were talking about earlier tech, I guess. You talked about that. And I was going to throw this out there. I asked people in the chat what they enjoy from SHOT or what they look for. And all I seen was DTP said some stuff during the show is nice, but it's not a big deal if content is spread out later also. And that's one of the things that I was wondering. I guess I didn't even bring that up as an actual question to you guys on the panel here, but I was asking the audience out there. Got 30 people watching or something, so nobody's really replying to that. But when you guys watch stuff from SHOT Show, you guys on the panel here, you're not watching. I mean, I literally never been not at SHOT Show, so I don't know what it's like to be sitting at home watching stuff. Does it just get so flooded it gets like you roll your eyes, or is it like, oh, hot damn, SHOT Show's on, I can't wait to see all the new stuff, and it's like, oh, somebody will go live out of nowhere, it's like an exciting week? Or is it just I don't know, what's it like when you're watching SHOT Show for a week?
I've never been one to just wait for SHOT Show week and peruse the internet and YouTube just looking for anything and everything media wise that's coming out of SHOT Show. As I've had interest in this item or that item, then I went and looked it up, and then some of it was taken, the footage or whatever was taken during SHOT Show. So yeah, I fall into the category that, really doesn't matter to me because I'm not glued to the tube, so to speak, during SHOT Show week.
I'll fall in the same boat as that. I mean, I never did particularly say, oh, it's SHOT Show week. I would wait about 2 weeks and say, oh, I'll have to see what came out of SHOT Show. Let's see what it is, But
there's a difference too. Here's the difference. We're talking about produced content sense, right? Also, the years back that, of course, I didn't go to SHOT Shows, that SHOT Show was obviously going on. I was never a part of anything like gun channels or, inside the industry or their community enough really to know about live streaming and that people were actually live streaming from SHOT Show. That potentially could have been something that would have interested me.
Yeah, the live stuff I'd be interested in.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I think I cut Gary up. I apologize, Gary.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, I always did kind of look forward to, at least the last couple of years anyway, you'll find there's a lot of repetitive stuff out there. About the time somebody hits a video with this new gun, then there's 20 videos on that gun. After a while, it's all the same thing. But, and a good portion of the videos, if you follow a lot of gun channels like I do, your feed will be full of SHOT Show stuff. But I always look through it to see if there's anything interesting in there. A lot of times the companies will put their own videos out there during SHOT too.
That's true. That is the truth. I like that. Yeah,
that is true. And I do the same thing as Gary mostly.
Yeah, and yesterday's pomade out there saying that a lot of people go and want to be the first to drop a video about something. And I can get that to an extent with some people. The problem with that is what Rich White said up above that, is that a lot of that stuff is announced and everything else before even SHOT Show. You know about pretty much all of it. So,
but
my take on it is,
but sometimes you don't see pictures or visual representations,
or production values poor because you're rushing to get it out.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But with I don't know, there's a lot of pictures, and there's even a lot of, I've seen a lot of pictures and a lot of video on stuff that, supposedly releasing it at SHOT already. So, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the product. It depends on certain things. I guess for some things that may be the case. But again, like I said, it's so, I don't know what the word is. G-Webs used it last year when we were gearing up, and I don't know if it was about being fluid or whatever, but it just seems like stuff's all over the place. Yeah. It changes and it morphs and it's different but it's the same, and it's just a weird situation around SHOT time.
I tell you, the one thing that SHOT Show the last few years prior to me going that I actually did look forward to actually seeing, and it didn't have to be live, it didn't have to be that day. But even a week or two later, I enjoyed the range day videos because you can see someone talking about a product, but I want to see someone shooting that product, you know. So I always look forward to from a consumer side of watching range videos from range day. So and it didn't have to be live. It could be a week later. I'd rather enjoy the range stuff than the booth reviews.
Yeah, and then let's be honest about it. I mean, the brass ring, and you know what I think we really want as creators, and I think what viewers out there really want is the in-depth reviews and the time spent hands-on actually using a product and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool to say, okay, this is out and here it is, and we're sitting here at SHOT Show and look at it and let me move this and move that, but that's really all you can do. So again, the networking and the contacts and trying to get the end to where you can maybe get that product in your hands later and do some in-depth stuff. I think that's where the content comes into play. That's really valuable to the viewer at that point.
I agree.
I don't want to interrupt anybody, but if there's I don't know, bad way to start that sentence. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time, so that it had nothing to do with if. So so things have changed, right? We've been doing this for 13 years. When we started out in 5, we were just trying to do it. There was no competition because, or at least we didn't recognize any competition because we were just doing it. And then so once we got there, fucking gun blast. So I considered them my first adversary at SHOT Show because they were walking around doing the same thing I was doing, except they had a website you had to pay to go into. And I thought that was bullshittery, so I was going to be the free version of Gun Blast and take better pictures. So you got I don't know if that's even competition because they didn't know we existed. They got 1 year they were in front of us in line. Back in the day, they would open the doors. I guess they still open the doors, but when we were new, we didn't know you couldn't get in first, so we would sit there in line like everybody else, and Gun Blast was in front of us one time, and we were like, dang it, how did they get here first, right? So that was our interpretation. We interpreted that as an adversary, and we would compare to them. So some of it was getting online first because we didn't have stuff we have today, like Instagram or any of that stuff. You'd go home and you'd go back to the hotel or something, and you would, if you had an internet, you would try to get pictures up online. So that was pictures. And then video came along, and when video was brand new in 2008, 9 really, and 10, you could take all the video you wanted, but you weren't putting it online. You were lucky if you were getting it off your camera. Like, it was big, and internet connections were little. So, especially in hotel rooms. So that wasn't really a thing until later. And then by the time you get the ability to post video pretty quick, you got actual more than one YouTube channel there, right? The YouTube channel started going and acting like they figured out what SHOT Show was. So now you have the ability to post and multiple people posting. And I don't know if the years, honestly, there's ways to look at SHOT Show. I don't look at it as the amount of product. I look at it as the amount of opportunity and just like a big piece of watermelon. I'm not worried about what each piece tastes like. I'm just eating the shit out of it, right? So I don't really remember every year. I can remember certain things like the SIG 556 was a big year. Like, everybody needed to see it. The Governor, as Clover was talking there, that's what it reminded me, is the Governor. So that year, does anybody remember what year the Governor was new? It was in Sands, so it had to be in the last 9 years.
It's like 11 or 12, I thought. Maybe I might be wrong.
So it was, and it had to be after we had been at Sands, because I can remember knowing where it was going to be because I knew Sands by now, and that wasn't something you could do back in the day because they kept sticking in new SHOT Shows in a different building every time. So anyhow, what I was getting at is that I can remember having my strategy for that year, like, I'm going to be the first Governor video, and I honestly don't remember if I was or not. It probably was because I don't know if anybody else even cared, right? But there's been different eras, I guess, of SHOT Show. Now, again, I don't know everybody that goes to SHOT Show. I'm mostly aware from my experience on forums and stuff of military law enforcement training, right? Jaeger's forum, the various gun forums that I was interested in, AKs and stuff. And then the Arizona forum is really heavily into training. And going to shooting matches and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I was paying attention to. Now, there might have been hunter coverage, or there might have been sport competition shooting coverage that I wasn't aware of that was there, and I just wasn't aware of them. So I never considered them, as part of other people creating content and shot. Anyway, so I guess this is evolving, and it'll continue to evolve. It's certainly not going to stay where it's at right now for any length of time, but that element of getting to SHOT Show and being in line, and like I say, once you figure out how to get in sooner than even opening, being able to get stuff first, really first, all that stuff is different levels of just challenge, I guess, maybe like a level of achievement or something, just to be able to say you've done it kind of thing. But I was also finally getting around to the concept that if you're the first one to put up, let's say the governor again, or the SIG 556, that was back in 2006, if I remember right, or 6, maybe 7. It was a long time ago. So I remember taking digital pictures of that and literally debating, I'm going to go back to the hotel room and post these, because there's more value in me posting these first than there is posting them tonight, and gathered a bunch of other pictures. I can remember at SHOT Show one year, what the hell did we shoot? I think it was when Angie shot not Angelina, but Angie shot she was the first person outside of the company Glock to shoot the Gen 4 Glock. And we were like, wow, that's, something it happened. And I remember saying, that's significant enough. I just think that's cool. Angie's awesome, and she's the first human being outside of a Glock employee to pull a trigger on a Glock Gen 4. So I left the media day. Back then there was no signal out there, probably no signal now. I had to leave. I had to go back into Boulder City to push that video up. And I think that was still phones. I was able to do that on the phone. It was shitty, but it wasn't Instagram. It was YouTube. Maybe I had to pull out a laptop. Anyway, so there's a couple of times where we've had things that were first, right? Where we got something first, or we were the first to take picture of it at least since we've various years decided we're going to be first this year. Going off in tangents, but the media room, right? The computers up there didn't have internet. There was no internet back in the day. So the media room computers were to print stuff, or to I guess that would be it, print stuff. You could look at stuff on the internet, I guess, but you certainly
write something maybe.
Yeah, you weren't posting much. You could write a blog, I guess. And then maybe by year 2008, there was more computers up there, and they had a Mac up there, but there was these two son of a bitch blogging networks, and they would sit on them like they owned them, and they would just leave one guy up there, and we were trying to do the same thing. So that's why we noticed what they were doing. We had our idea was to have one of the computers monopolized, and then just have our guys run up and back with pictures, and then have one person posting the whole time, but using SHOT Show's laptop or computer there. Because what are you gonna do? Drag a tower up to the media room, and then where are you gonna plug it in, right? There was no laptops or nothing back then, or at least nobody could afford that kind of stuff. So anyway, there's been these little competitions we've had with people over the years as tech changed or whatever. But all this gets back to, we're looking at it from the creation side and the gathering side, and then the how do you get it up to distribute it side, which here we are today, where you can pretty much do it all from your phone and do it immediately. So I guess there's that technical hurdle isn't a challenge. So there's not going to be as much competition there, since we're almost all dealing with the same tools and the same ability. But what we had back then is, if you were the first to put a video of the governor up, or the first to do a blog post with 6 or 8 pictures of the SR 556 or whatever it was, as soon as the conversation, Tuesday morning, as soon as that conversation started, because people are aware of it. I mean, we might not be chomping at the bit for this data, but somebody cares about the governor, and somebody cares about the 556. As soon as you put the first thing out there, those people that care grab it, and it's over on that forum where they're absorbing the shit out of it. And what's, I think, a dynamic to that is you're getting devoured first. Oh, here's the first pictures of it. Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, or this guy doesn't. And then the next thing comes along, and the third thing, these people that are really, really, really into whatever it might be, they're looking at your thing and then comparing it to the second guy's. And then they're watching yours again to compare it to, oh, the first one had a version of the scope or something, or you can't really see the sight in that first one again. So your stuff is compared to everybody else going along potentially, and you get just mad views. So dismissing it because you're not interested is valid, and dismissing it because it's not a facet anymore is valid. But is there something, this is where I'm getting into no question after all this, is there something to getting some firsts, and maybe not, maybe not the biggest newest Glock or whatever that nobody cares about, but something downstairs that's first, like something that not everybody's looking for, but being the first, just so that you got those potential views.
Yeah, and I focus on a lot of things like that. I've got several on the radar that I've done some Instagram posts and I've done some shares and some different things, and nobody else is talking about these things. Everybody, it seems like we're in a I don't know. I was going to say slump, but it's not a slump, but we're in a trend, I guess, where everything's tactical. It's been that way for the longest. I mean, 2013 happened and it seemed like everything's went tactical, polymer, whatever. And we're just all into that phase of stuff. And, a lot of stuff, thankfully, I mean, that's not of the utmost interest to me. So therefore, I'm looking at a lot of the other stuff that's out there that is, more on the non-tactical side of things. It's some really innovative, really cool stuff. And yeah, in that sense of being the first or one of the few even ever, you could say, to get certain items and be able to look at them and lay hands on them and get pictures of them and all that. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that's valid.
I'd tell you that it happened for me last year, and I mean Clover was there also, but we went to a booth that had nobody there, and it was SAR USA. Nobody was at their booth. So when me and Clover walked up, we had like an hour-long conversation with Frank, and it wasn't that I was the first person out there, but I was probably one of the first ones out there talking about the SAR 9 because no one really knew about it or never heard of them. And then over the next few months, people started hearing about the SAR 9. Well, guess who had one of the first videos of the SAR 9? So that thing's got like 6,000 views in a month or two, because it wasn't that it was like the Mossberg pistol that people have been waiting for, but it was a gun that no one had really heard of before. And like, oh, well, this is kind of interesting. So that helps also. If you're trying to find some products that, not that everyone's been waiting for, but some kind of oddball things that no one has ever heard of, and you're the first one out, that might help 3 months down the road too.
Oh yeah, when you're talking like an inventory or a catalog of videos, yeah, you've got the only, let's say like one of the obscure guns downstairs or a hunting tool or a cooler adapter or something, like, yeah, you've got one of the only videos or the only video of something that's getting any kind of blip on a radar,
because no one was paying attention to them, so it worked out for me.
Mike, do you got a plan of attack yet? Is your plan of attack to have a strategy or something, or are you just gonna experience?
Just experience, go with the flow, and just absorb everything and make it work the best I can.
You weren't in the chat with Ghost, with Kevin and Skip?
No, unfortunately, I was at the hospital.
Oh, hopefully everything's right there. But I was just going to say, I don't know if you heard the part where Kevin offered to take Skip around and just walk with her.
I heard of it.
But that's a concept. I mean, that's something that, find some people, and just meet people.
Right.
Really valid. It doesn't seem like shots going anywhere. So learning the terrain is, I think super valid. At least at this one. Does anybody know when it's supposed to stop? Is it 2020 or something and it stops, or has anybody heard?
I think 2020 is when this contract runs out.
Meaning that they're going to go someplace else, or SHOT Show is coming to an end?
Oh no, SHOT Show won't come to an end. It's just that they've, for some reason, decided to sign the stupid contract with this place. And
I think they like it in Vegas, don't they, G?
Yes, they like Vegas, but they've also parked it at that convention center, which, I mean, you guys haven't, I don't know if you've done anything in the real convention center, the Vegas Convention Center. It's night and day, literally. It's got windows. It's night, day. I was over here buffing up the website. I'm going to screen share. So, SHOT Show, right? We've been going since 2005, but before then, it was in Vegas, and then it was in Florida, Vegas, but then 2001, New Orleans, 99, Atlanta. It bounces to Vegas a lot. Dallas, Houston, Orleans again, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and San Francisco. San Francisco, and then it started in St. Louis. So started with 5,000 attendees. When we started going, it was at something like 30,000, and now it's at 60,000. It used to fill up when it went to the convention center, half of the convention center. So I guess, and we started to spread to, like in 2008, it was the convention center and like 3 outbuildings, like giant tents, basically. They were like covering the entire parking lots. And at that point, they went to Florida and then never went back to the convention center. But I guess we were fighting with the concrete convention, and they are bigger than us or more money or something. They got the convention center. We got the 2-floor sands. I don't know where else they can go, but I mean, in 9 years, they've had to build a better convention center. I don't go to Vegas anymore just to play around, but one of these other hotels has to have a competing convention center by now, no?
Well, you would think.
It's huge. I would hope somebody's got one. I never go to conventions to see, to experience other ones. But yeah,
I'm surprised they never had it in Arizona. I'm surprised they never had it out in Arizona somewhere.
I just don't think we have a convention center big enough. We've got like little things. That's all we got. And California doesn't seem conducive, so I can understand that. But all I'm saying is it used to bounce around quite a bit. It wasn't just back and forth. It was back and forth between Vegas and Florida for a little bit at the very end, right before it pegged into Vegas, and now it's just been Vegas. So I don't even know if that's something that some person decides that, or even like a committee. I just don't know what the strategy is with that. It might just be that it's comfortable and it's working, and if they don't get enough people bugging them, then they just leave it in Vegas. I don't know. Anybody thought about doing interviews with NSSF or the SHOT Show organizers or anybody?
Yeah, I've got one set up with NSSF.
Same here. Yeah, same here.
Oh, really? So what do you got? What's your intention there?
I don't know. I haven't thought too much on what I'm going to ask and stuff just yet, but it's set up for sure.
Do you guys do this? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Most of mine's just going to be kind of behind the scenes of how does SHOT Show happen from the inside? I mean, how long out do they start preparing? I mean, is it a year-round thing? I mean, and talk about that side of the SHOT Show of setting up SHOT Show. That's kind of where my intention is.
And from that angle, I got to assume that having this consistent floor plan and place and all that is probably efficient. Like that probably has to be the way to go. When they don't even know what the floor plan is going to be, how can somebody decide what their booth's going to look like? They don't even know where it or anything. Well,
I'm sure they're familiar by now. They could literally sit there and say, "Hey, we've got 4 booths open this year that were from not last year," and in their heads, they know exactly where that booth is, either the dungeon or the 5th floor or the main floor or whatever. They know exactly where that booth is. They can explain somebody, and not only that, they can probably explain who's always around that also. So I'm sure it's very, very familiar.
I got to cut off to, I don't know what they're talking about over here again, but are Phoenix guns trash, and is a Bauer 25 ACP better than nothing? So a Bauer is literally a replica. I think they're like a licensed copy of a baby Browning. So in 1908, when Browning decided the world needs a 25 ACP, he created it, and he built the baby Browning to shoot it, and then millions of them have been made since then. The Bauer is the stainless steel version. So instead of just making it out of regular steel, they make it out of stainless steel, and it costs like a lot of money. Like they're not cheap. So yeah, they're very good guns. They're 25 ACP, so they're center fire and they're capable. They're decent guns. I mean, they wouldn't have made millions of them since 1908 or whatever if they weren't, a decent thing. The Phoenix, on the other hand, is a Zamic, so different type of metal based off of the baby Browning blowback and everything, but made to be economical to produce. And because of that, it's operation is more like a small high point. It's like a little tiny high point. And because of that, the materials are nothing like, they're not even comparable. So other than the size and the caliber, and thanks for jumping in, Gary. Aside from the caliber and what they're in the form factor, they're the opposite extremes of the spectrum. So Phoenix are firearms, they're like Harbor Freight tools. They've got their place, but a baby Browning is 3 times the price or more and worth every bit of the price. Anyway, figure palate cleanser there. You guys want to throw anything on a 25 ACP? Carry one? Yes or no? Over.
What was the question?
Would you carry a 25 ACP?
No,
Yes,
absolutely not. No, I wouldn't. No, I'd carry 22 mag over 25 ACP.
Oh, snap. Ghost?
Probably not. No.
Mike?
Not at all.
Oh, snap. Nice try.
While I like 25, I would not carry it. No.
Oh, snap. 25 hate is strong in here. Center fire. Totally worked.
25 strong in here, more so than 9mm.
Don't even get into that. So anyway, 25 ACP. I think it's a super cool little round. It's neat. It's like a little mini 45 ACP. Anyhow, so
I'll agree it's a cool round. I'll agree with it. You know, the heat factor and all that good stuff.
It's just a little.
Have you guys played with a Bauer before?
No, the only
I have held one. That's all I can do. I've held one at a gun shop before.
Should we have a gun channel shoot up at Vegas?
Have a what?
Should we have a gun channel shoot when we're in Vegas? Or is that too much to stack on to everybody's schedule?
No one's traveling with guns unless you're going to bring all of them.
Right.
No, I'm just saying, I'm driving. And
Well, that
I'm
being
driving.
said,
maybe if
Then
we,
you gotta-
I imagine if we brought them to like, I know if we brought them to the media shoot, they'd tell us to leave them there. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
In Paris is probably the same way.
probably, yeah.
My main problem is I don't like dragging stuff because when I've got it here, I know there's people watching it, right? And when I drag it along, it's just a bunch of money you're leaving in a hotel room.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was fixing to say. I wouldn't be willing. That's one of the reasons that, you know, there was talk about Tulsa being able to do something. Of course, we got that coming.
Tulsa's going to be different now, thanks to Yankee Bossy. Tulsa will be a little bit different, I think.
About dragging some to Tulsa, you know, and you know, I'm game to do that, but yeah, that was my hesitation. Is, you know, so it's all cool and smooth until you've got to leave crap in a hotel room, or, you know, last day of the show in the vehicle, God forbid, or you know what I'm saying.
So Pink said he's bringing his guns. He always brings guns. So he'll be out there for a while. Sounds like Marco's going to be out there for a while. So maybe those guys will be out there shooting a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I was kind of saying about the trying to get first so that you got, you know, some presence out there as far as the opportunity, I guess, for people to drag your stuff around and link to it and use it as an example of stuff. I don't know if I cut anybody off. I know I've been going off on tangents tonight.
The problem that I've found, like if I want to do something, the internet either at range day or at SHOT Show is so bad. Like the service is so bad. Like it would almost have to be that night. And like you said, I mean, is it worth it at that time? But I mean, the internet service is so bad there. So I don't know.
Well, somebody who, I don't forget which one you brought up, Instagram, that definitely changed things. I can remember.
Yeah,
one of the reasons I like Instagram so much is that we were able to like offer an experience of SHOT specifically, right? Because that's the one thing I end up attending the most often. But being able to get stuff out there, because a lot of times you're right, people don't want to see 15 minutes of blah, 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 blah about something where seeing it, yeah, oh, I didn't know that was there. And you can just thumb right past it if it's something you've seen already.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to utilizing Instagram this year because I was not really into Instagram this time last year. So that'll be interesting for me.
I forgot what year it was. They had a big TV screen down in the basement where the food is. And there's this big TV screen. And I forget the, you know, you'd at whatever thing, and it would, or no, it must have been Twitter. It was with Twitter. You would at whatever like word it was on the TV screen, and then your tweet would show up there eventually.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool if they utilized the big screen TV with the hashtag SHOT Show 2019, and whoever's using that hashtag on Instagram, they would have like a live feed of all those pictures. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm not saying that we did it, but there might be a picture somewhere of like Haas standing next to that TV screen with a tweet that says something like "I suck nuts" with a bunch of right arrows.
You're not saying that you did it, but you're not saying you didn't do it.
Yeah, we did that like 4 or 5 times with people because we were sitting there, just lazy. And we're like, oh look, if we tweet stuff, and then the people would come up and talk to us, and we just moved our chairs so that we were looking towards that TV screen, and they'd be standing there next to the TV screen.
So, are we going to do a scavenger hunt this year?
I'm totally down for that.
That'd be fun.
I was gonna say, I don't know who's a bigger loser, that the guy that got a picture taken of him, or I'm the one that texted "I suck nuts" with a bunch of freaking arrows.
I mean,
that's up to you to decide.
Yeah.
I was talking about cashews, but
pistachios.
Yeah, I think I'll be working on the SHOT Show bingo, which is basically in effect a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, sure.
And then I don't know. I certainly think there's some ways that we could play around with. I don't know.
We're gonna do. Well, you want to do a Thursday night chat, right?
This Thursday? You're talking about pre-SHOT Show?
Isn't that what you said?
Yes. So, Mike, I don't know if you heard, if you're going to be around on Thursday night, trying to get everybody who's going to be there together so that we can just first figure out where we're going to meet up on Sunday night to eat, and then figure out something throughout the week so that we can all keep aware of what we're each doing, if we can help each other, if somebody needs something, or make people aware of whatever special things might be going on.
Yeah, I'm flying out Thursday.
Why did I think you're flying out Saturday? I thought.
No, I'm flying in on Saturday, flying out on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, that works. So Sunday we're going to try to meet up. So you're welcome to join us for the Sunday night, and then we're talking like having like a hangout or something on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. So that again, so we're just all aware that we've got something that we can all meet up and chat with, so we don't have to all drive somewhere or show up at a restaurant at some time.
Sounds good.
Anyway, so that's what we're talking about on Thursday. But yeah, so what were you saying about that, Clover?
Oh, I was just saying, as far as the scavenger or the SHOT Show bingo, I mean, once we're all kind of in the hangout there in the room, if we can get most of us is going, then we can start tossing ideas around or something with that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So when are you going to be in town, G? Saturday?
Oh, I do everything on 100% need to know operational security basis. So,
all right, so we'll talk about that off air.
I will be in Vegas, and we'll leave it like that. And then I may be there for a day. I might be there. I might be in Vegas already. No, anyway.
No, that's true. All right.
The ever elusive G-Webs.
Got way too many women trying to track me down.
I think you and Mike may have that competition, man. I'm telling you.
You know, Marco has a shoe showdown. You guys might have the chick showdown in Vegas.
All right. Magic Man and G-Webs.
Magic Mike and G.
Uh-oh.
All right,
the same size, so
I don't know what else we've got to talk about. Let's talk about a gun shop in Vegas, since we're talking Vegas. One of the reasons we like to do the show on a daily basis, so we can feature a gun shop every day. So I guess I could go around the room on this one. The recreational, or I guess, entertainment ranges that are there, the people that come in for, what's the word I'm looking for? Firearms tourism. They've got some nationally, internationally known places there that have full auto machine guns and whatnot. You can shoot, some of them shoot old guns and different types of guns, video game stuff, movie stuff. And again, we got a lot of stuff on our plates and that, but is anybody, especially like Mike, is going to be there when you're flying out Thursday. I thought you were going to show up Thursday. Some of the other people are getting there quite a bit early. Is anybody thinking about going to a shop?
I've been wanting to go to that one you're talking about. I think it's over there by Treasure Island, right out on the strip.
Behind it,
that was pretty cool.
Battlefield Vegas, definitely the most elaborate. That's the one with the tanks, and you can literally rent a tank
that's the
and drive
one.
over in cars or something. Yeah, and that one's neat because they're definitely open to media. So, that's the one with the big vault, and I just said, "Hey, can I look at your vault?" They said, "Yeah, sure." So it wasn't like I scheduled nothing. I just asked them, and they took me back there. That one would probably be one to hit. I really like the gun store. That's the oldest one, been there for a long time. Good people there, smaller than the others, but I don't know if it's any closer. It's kind of closer to the airport than some of the others.
Is that the one that's close to Pawn Stars?
No, Pawn Stars is like north of Vegas, I think. North of the Strip before you get to Old Vegas, I think. I don't totally know. I think somebody, like my brother, somebody was like, "Oh, that's the thing." And I'm pretty sure it's where we were. It's sort of by the what do they call that tower? The Stratosphere?
The Stratosphere, yeah.
It's kind of by the bottom of the Stratosphere, I think. So the one I'm talking about is over more south, it'd be more towards the Luxor. It'd be south towards the airport.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that's something that we'd be interested in trying to do maybe on one of the nights if it turns out there's like a slow night or you're just all getting burnt out or something and we want to go check out like the Battlefield Vegas. Battlefield Vegas is like probably the more boring as far as the range goes. You go in there and it's like a big t-shirt shop pretty much. It's like all just shit tons of t-shirts and things you can buy and crap like souvenirs. And then you kind of go around a corner to where you rent your guns and then you have to like leave and go into another wing and you're only in there if you're shooting kind of thing. Where like 702 is a big fancy one. They're more, you're in a big room and the range is behind windows and you can experience whoever is shooting, you can watch them and stuff like, so you're more part of the range. A couple of them are like that. And they all pretty much lend themselves to what we're talking about, having a group of people come in and like one or two people rent and the rest of the people just sort of fart around and watch and laugh and whatever. And, that's something I don't think you have to plan for. That's what they're all about. You just kind of decide to do it and go do it. So I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think it's a necessity. It's certainly not a priority or nothing, but something just to keep in mind. We got enough vehicles. I imagine if we did, like I say, get a time when we're all like, I'm burned out, let's go over there instead, we can do it. I don't know. Most of them, I would imagine, don't let you bring your guns. No, they're rental places only. Like you rent their guns. It's not like an open range and you just bring in your own. But a couple of them you can. So if like somebody had their own guns, we could play with them in there. If you want to start worrying about Tulsa, go for it. But I'd wait like 2 weeks, and then you won't have all of us paying attention to 2 trips, and then we'll all be on board with Tulsa. But right on. I'm going to end it right here too, Mike. So. That was our gun shop today. It wasn't a gun shop. It was a whole bunch of gun shops in Vegas. Sounds like I'll have some time here to work on VegasShooting.com, which is a site I built a long time ago. I think that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out, 14 or 15. One year we went up to SHOT Show like a week early and explored pretty much all the gun shops west of the Strip. And then another year we went up and like in November or something, and just out of the blue, just went around visiting all those machine gun places. So I built the website to put all those reviews and to let people know about the tourism options for shooting. And we'll soup that up a little bit for Vegas, and then we'll all hopefully be able to contribute to it, at least in some angles, as far as the Vegas trip part of it. I'm thinking we're collecting enough info about traveling and hotels and dealing with luggage and rental cars and everything else that maybe there's some aspect to all of this that we are neglecting, like some travel side of it, or like how to travel either with guns or with cameras. Create some content specifically to that, give our projects a little bit more reach.
That's an interesting concept. I never thought about the hassle of traveling with all this electronics and stuff. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about guns once in a while, but the traveling with the stuff is an aspect that more people are probably dealing with. Anyway, we're not getting a lot of response out there, but we are getting a lot of slow and a lot of dead air. So slow responses and dead air. So I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, wait. Do you guys have any shows? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Everything's going on. Like Strike has
tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're gonna have I think me, G, Clover, Mike, Rob Pincus, and Mike Sedini talking SHOT Show.
Yeah. Tomorrow night we're just doing more of the same, hit or miss, every Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Guess they never miss, huh?
No, they don't.
All right. Mike, thanks for jumping in. Always welcome. I guess I'm shadow banned on my email, so I'm going to figure out a better way to get emails out to people that they can recognize. And Clover, when you got something coming up? I feel like
I don't have anything. I mean, there'll be a couple of video drops this week, and then Friday I interviewed Charlie Cook, who does Riding Shotgun with Charlie. So that'll be the Friday podcast this week.
Dang it. I like getting them ahead of time, but I already listened to that. So all right. Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching.
I'm recording 2 more this week to cover, SHOT Show and the week after, so I don't got to rush through that. So you'll get freebies or whatever sneak peeks on Patreon this week. It'll all be good.
Snap. You know what? That's something we should have touched on tonight. I'm not going to add it on tonight, but maybe Ghost or Night Strike, or I don't know, maybe we can talk about it on Thursday. But the concept of what we're going to preload our channels with or not, because that's definitely true. Like you can lose some momentum by going away for a week like that, especially if you're not intending to post stuff while you're there necessarily, like all the time. Then you can really get a hiccup in attention there.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, lots of neat stuff, and see you tomorrow.